celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Pre-purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au. celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Free purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au.
Oh, well, a very good afternoon and welcome to the 244th Royal Adelaide Show. It's day 3 and we're going to be bringing you horses in action this afternoon. The first of our champion classes that we're bringing to you via the live stream. And welcome if you're on Facebook, YouTube or the Stock Journal's website is our champion junior rider, 14 years and under 18 years. And we have the voice of the Royal Adelaide Show, Peter Hegney, with us to take us through all of the action. But also we were lucky enough to find in the crowd a young lady that's had innumerable successes here. I hope you don't mind me saying that. Jess Stones, who has had success in almost every equestrian pursuit. But Jess, your name is in the record books for this very class.
Yeah, I have won this class a few times. I have very fond memories of winning champion junior rider here a few times. Always when I would do my lap of honour, they would play Jessie's Girl. So I'll never forget that.
Well, you've got a couple of young ladies out here that are in fact part of your J&R equestrian business.
Yeah, we've got one that just competed in the class that's just finished, and then 2 in the next upcoming classes.
Fantastic. Now, coming to Royal Adelaide, there's going to be boys and girls and mums and dads watching at the moment that have never competed on horses. What does it mean to be here on this magnificent turf, competing and being named champion junior rider?
Oh, it definitely means a lot. I mean, there's a lot of blood, sweat and tears that go into this, and the, weeks, months, years of preparation leading up to it, right down to, the final minutes before you come out here. And, you've got to pray to God that, all your stars align and everything sort of goes well. So, yeah, a lot goes into it. So, yeah, it's very meaningful.
Well, our judge here today is Lee Halpin-Bishop. You can hopefully see Lee in the background there in that magnificent mauve outfit. And Lee has had great successes from the Hunter Valley of New South Wales, but great successes at Sydney Royal, Adelaide Royal and Melbourne Royal. And her daughter, of course, is now carrying on the family tradition, Hallie Halpin-Bishop, who's having wonderful successes, including with her pony in the last few years at various shows. But what are we going to be seeing here today, Peter Hegney, in terms of our eligible competitors for champion?
Lindsay, we only have 2, of course. We have the winner of the 14 to 16-year-old class, and we also have the winner of the 16 to 18-year-old class. But having said only 2, they're 2 very, very good riders. They're riders who have been very successful right throughout Australia. They came through the junior ranks where they were successful. They're now competing in this slightly older age group. And it's going to be a really interesting competition. I don't know what the betting would be on this, but it will be most interesting indeed. And, of course, there's every opportunity for the second place getter to come in for the reserve champion rider too, and that comes about that should the champion be chosen, the second rider in that class can come in and vie for reserve champion rider, because there is some potential that perhaps that particular class from which the champion came may have been stronger than the other age group. I'm not saying that is the case, but that's how the second competitor can come in and vie for that reserve champion. Now, I don't want to preempt what our judge is going to be looking for, and in fact I'll leave that to you ladies, but I think any good judge of a rider class is looking for a rider that actually rides a horse. It's all very well to sit pretty, so to speak, but I think she'll be looking for a rider that actually shows her horse to great advantage and actually gets out there and rides. Looks nice, of course, they have to, but they have to sit correctly, but they also have to really have their horse performing for them.
Well, I'm curious, it's a great opportunity to ask Jess, really, what are you telling your students that come out and compete at this level, champions at Royals, that what they really need to provide for the judge in this arena?
Yeah, well, look, as Peter said, I am in agreement that you're looking for a rider that's riding the horse. They can all sit pretty and not move, but yeah, you've got to be riding the horse and riding with the horse, not against it. So your legs are going to move, but there's a difference between them moving with the horse and flapping on its side. So yeah, there's another thing like you obviously correct position, your shoulder, hip, heel, a straight line from your elbows down the rein to the horse's bit. A rider that rides with feel too, looks around, assesses the arena and everything, and has a lot of ring craft, doesn't get covered, situates themselves well, and yeah, I think ring craft is a big thing, and you've got to have natural feel. Yeah, definitely.
Well, looking back through the history books here, and don't mind me just glancing down for a moment, but I want to get all the names correct in the right order. Ebony Lee was our champion in 2018. Young Daisy Plum, 2017. Bryony, who's Ebony's sister, Bryony Lee, taking it out in 2016. Rachel O'Connor in 2015. We had Alexandra Nan prior to that. But the careers that you can go on to in the equestrian world now, I think your champion, your name is down there for 2004. Could you describe to people that don't know of your successes what your business is today and what you do today?
I think definitely like showing is a fantastic base for any junior rider to start, and obviously you can excel into that to the biggest of levels, but it's also such a good base to branch off into any discipline: show jumping, dressage, eventing, cutting, and anything. We do run a business across a lot of disciplines, mainly show horses and show jumping. So we have a couple of World Cup show jumpers, which we breed and have started from the beginning and produced them right through. Show horses, all shapes and kinds. Breaking in, anything from a Clydesdale to a Shetland and everything in between. Pre-training with race horses. Teaching, coaching. So fingers in a lot of pies.
Well, we love that you've come down from outside in the arena where you're cheering on your students and your friends and competitors that you know out here. But we are now being joined by our two eligible competitors for champion, making their way into the ring now. And our judge, Lee Halpin-Bishop, has a difficult job ahead of her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lindsay, don't you just love that? A rider, a serious horse person, a person that does a bit of everything, and that's a bit unusual these days. So many people specialise in just one field, but with Jess, as she said, breaks in, rides hacks, rides jumpers. I just love people that do that, and she's the epitome of a versatile rider, a real horse person.
Well, our two eligible competitors have made their way out now. It's catalogue number 109, and that's Kate Kuros. She's a local lady, South Australian, and boy, has she had some phenomenal successes in recent years. There's not much that she's not going on to win these days. And she's, I think she's riding Federer today, actually, who was our champion at Royal Queensland Show not so long ago. She's based out of the Vicky Lang stables. The Vicky Laurie stables, my apologies. And also we have Ava Halloran out here as well from Victoria, a winner of Class 7, which was the 16 to 18-year-old age bracket.
Well, it appears now that our judge is going to put those two winners on the circle, and this will give her an opportunity to have an overview of both the riders. Obviously, she judged them individually in the class, but now she sees them both out there together, and she can do a comparison between the two riders. And I think you'd agree, two outstanding riders. The first of these on the black horse is in fact Ava Halloran. So it's Victoria versus South Australia. It's Ava Halloran. Ava is number 70, rides the black horse. She was the winner of the 16 to 18-year-old rider class. And on the tall bay horse is number 109, and this is Kate Kuros. And as Lindsay mentioned to you, Kate resides in Adelaide itself, but her horses are kept up at the Laurie stable up at Oakbank. So our judge now, Lee Halpin-Bishop, getting that overview, that look at both riders. Interestingly, in a rider class, it's not the concern of how the horses go. However, it may have some bearing on the judge's final decision if the rider is not capable of making the horse go reasonably well, as opposed to a hack class where judges are less inclined to forgive misdemeanours because these horses should be totally educated. But this is a rider class. This is a champion rider class. It's not a hack class. So if a horse performs, just gets a little upset or might break or might shy, if it's not the rider's fault, then it's unlikely that the judge is going to be critical of that performance. But again, I'm not the judge. We'll wait and see the outcome.
Well, a good opportunity to introduce you all to our judge, Lee Halpin Bishop, looking just magnificent today, but also a very accomplished horsewoman in her own right, lives in the Hunter Valley, married and has a lovely 11-year-old daughter, Hallie, who I mentioned earlier is a successful competitor also. Hallie's actually previously been champion at Sydney Royal with a Shetland pony and has had 2 Horse of the Year titles. But Lee Halpin Bishop has won rider at Sydney, Brisbane, at Canberra Royals, was back-to-back New South Wales Rider of the Year, as well as multiple Grand National runner-up titles, and has a background in racehorses. Began as a foreman for a racing stable, and father trained many years ago. And mum breeds Welsh ponies, and dad now breeds Clydesdales. And when Lee and Hallie aren't busy having great success in the show arena, they love to bake cakes, they tell me, which I thought was an interesting little fact. I wonder if they're successful at the Royal Show level with their cakes as they are with their horses. But they've had some great horses over the years. Platinum Slippers, champion at Bathurst Royal, New South Wales Horse of the Year, champion for 2 years at Sydney Royal. They also had Royal Windsor, who was a champ at Sydney Royal as well, Jack Daniels, who was a champion novice at Canberra Royal, Ace of Spades, 2-time champion at Sydney, and they unfortunately recently lost their daughters, Shetland, that had such great success with, a 6-time Sydney champion, and that was Cronelli Esquire. And it is our great privilege to have Lee Halpin Bishop here as a judge at Royal Adelaide Show.
Well, a judge obviously very well qualified to be judging this champion junior rider. At this stage, the 2 riders are still on the circle, so we'll just wait and see whether our judge is in fact going to ask for an individual workout. She may not. It's not necessarily required in a championship event. She may have already made up her mind. And having said that, I wouldn't like to be in her position, because they're 2 very capable riders. Riding the black horse, Ava Halloran from Victoria. On the big bay horse, Kate Kairos from Menindee here in South Australia. Now, as Jess said to us before, and as mentioned, Jess has won many champion rider classes right through the junior ranks into the senior ranks. One of our most accomplished riders in the land is Jess Stones. So I feel a little out of my depth describing to you what's going on here. But basically the judge, as Jess mentioned, was looking for a rider who rides the horse, a rider who of course sits quite erect, who has a good depth with their leg, stretching the heel down a little bit without making it forced. Their feet should be looking forward, they should be facing the front, not outsidewards. The rider should sit evenly on the horse, not leaning to either side, and their hands should be quite soft, so that the horse in fact can go forward into the bridle, can carry itself. The hands and reins are really there just to guide the horse, and also just to assist it in carrying itself, to show itself off. Obviously, if you let the reins go totally, it's highly likely the horse will stretch down and lose that showy appearance that we like to see. So the rider just holds the reins just in a nice soft firmness to enable the horses to carry themselves and show themselves to best advantage. Although the horses aren't being judged, it is the riders only. And I think both of those riders have exemplified exactly those traits. Oh, we're waiting now. Are we going to have an individual workout, or has our judge made her decision?
Well, as we wait for a contender, I believe, to be called in to the ring, I just want to go a little further through the history books. Back in 1998, which as far as my records go, it was Samantha Strano, who was our champion junior rider, 14 years and under 18 years. Katrina Metherall went on to win it for the next 2 years, from 1999 to 2000. Jacqueline Librio, 2001. 2002 was Leslie Burrows. Our lovely interviewee a few moments ago, the very talented Jess Stones. Back then she was Jess Stalling. And a happy Father's Day for the first time to Reece Stones for today. They've got their gorgeous little daughter out here in the stables with them, as well as a crew of 9 horses with their clients.
Lindsay, it looks like our champion has been selected without an individual workout. Our judge was very comfortable in assessing these riders on the circle on both reins, and it appears, and this is very unofficial, but it appears that our champion rider is in fact Ava Halloran from Victoria. Wonderful win, and I say that because now coming in for reserve champion is the second place getter in that 16 to 18-year-old class, and that's Daisy Plum from Cardinia in Victoria. So I mentioned earlier that the second place getter to the champion in the class in which they competed can now come in to vie for the reserve championship, and that's exactly what happened here. Ava Halloran, I think, is going to be our champion, and Daisy Plum now rides off with the winner of the 14 to 16-year-old class, Kate Karos, for reserve champion.
Well, Daisy actually had great success here in 2017, where she was indeed our champion junior rider, 14 years and under 18 years. Well, back to 2006, it was Emma Marie's year. 2008 was Naomi Karutz. 2009 was Rose McAvoy. 2010, our champion, Abby Heffer. For 2 years after that, Lillian McAvoy had great success in 2011, 2012 as the champion. 2013, it was Ruby Christoph. And we discussed some of our other champions in more recent times earlier on today. But this is a magnificent class to watch. And Lee Halpin Bishop, she's looking for all the finesse required of a champion junior rider. How the rider operates with the horse, not just with comfort, but with that finesse, with that style, that there's an elegance to the whole package, that they are at one with the animal, and that the rider is demonstrating to the judge that they can operate the horse without overtly showing that they're operating it. So if there's a mistake out there, that you fix it very discreetly, and that the rider's riding forward, sitting deep, riding up through the bridle and having lots of discreet corrections if they're needed, but again, that is done with real polish. So Lee Halpin Bishop, our judge from the Hunter Valley in New South Wales.
Well, again, our judge has taken considerable time, of course, to decide on a reserve champion junior rider. Again, both of these riders extremely capable, very successful riders in their own right. On the grey pony, it's Daisy Plum, and she's from Cardinia in Victoria. And the other rider on the bigger bay horse is Kate Karos from here in South Australia in Menindee. Well, I think our judge now has asked the riders to come in. So therefore, I think she's made a decision. Difficult one as it is. So very shortly, we'll have the results for champion and reserve champion junior rider, 14 to 18 years of age.
Well, our judge now will make her decision around our reserve champion, but it looks to be unofficially Ava Halloran will be our champion junior rider. Her dad is a keen polocrosse player from Victoria. Mum's had a wonderful showing career as well. I think this will be a very nice Father's Day gift to say down the live stream. So we'll make our way over to the presentation area now for the official announcement. And it's just a magnificent day here at the Royal Adelaide Show. The sun is shining, there's a lovely breeze coming through, and in just a moment's time we're going to be adding a new name to the record books for champion junior rider, 14 years and under 18 years.
Well, our riders lined up now, just waiting for the announcement of our champion and reserve champion junior rider for the 2019 Adelaide Royal Show. And whoever they are, they'll be very, very worthy winners. A very worthy champion and a very worthy reserve champion as well. While this class was taking place, there was a jumping class going on right next door, of course. Sometimes that can be a little intimidating to some of the hacks going around, but these horses seem to cope with it with aplomb. No dramas there at all. I think later in the afternoon we're going to be live streaming the senior lady rider classes. Lindsay, I think that's right. We're going to have the senior lady rider classes live streaming this afternoon, aren't we? I think we've got the rider 18 to 30 and over 30, that's right, and then the champion lady rider as well. So those three events will be live streamed later in the afternoon. Well, for all those viewers at home, who do you think? Well, we think we know who the champion, logically, who the champion rider is, of course, and that's been explained to you. Who do you think might be reserve champion? Will it be Daisy Plum, who was second to our proposed champion lady rider in the 16 to 18 class, or will it in fact be Kate Kairos, who was the winner of the 14 to 16-year-old class? Who would you have as your reserve champion? That's on the assumption that Ava Halloran is our champion rider. And yes, she comes forward. So there is our champion junior rider for 2019. It's Ava Halloran from Victoria. And here's our very hard-working ringmaster, Nick Simpson. It was the Simpson Family Prize that these riders competed for. They're great supporters of the show in trophies and awards and prize money. The Simpson family, Barty Simpson, has been sponsoring so many of the junior classes here this year at the show. And now Nick Simpson, who is also our ringmaster, has come forth to make the presentation to Ava on her Champion Junior Rider Award.
Well, young Ava Halloran here, a smile from ear to ear. She comes to us from Victoria, looking magnificent here today. Well, a happy Father's Day to your father. He'll be just thrilled with this. A polocrosse player himself, but you're the show star here today. Look, tell us about this horse that you've been lent to ride on today.
So my first ride was pretty much here last year. So lucky to be able to ride her. Her name is Shay, so DS Talara for Sandro. So lucky.
Now tell us, you've been riding all of your life. Your parents are very fond of the horse world. They're very successful in their own pursuits. Tell us, where have you ridden? Where have you had great successes? You're from Geelong?
Yes, from Geelong. My parents both have grown up riding, so it's just kind of been natural, passed on to me. I was champion rider last year at the Nationals, so yeah, fantastic successes.
Well, lovely big smile on your face here today. Congratulations, Ava.
May I also add, Lindsay, that Ava won the Young Ambassador Award in Victoria this year, didn't you? As well, that was a wonderful win, so it's been a great year for you. A reserve champion junior rider, in fact, goes to the second place getter in that class 16 to 18, and that award goes to Daisy Plum from Cardinia in Victoria. So the Victorians take out our champion and our reserve champion.
Well, Daisy has in fact been champion in this class before, and the photos are just going to be taken now to capture this moment in history. Well, I think Dale Plum will be very happy with this result here today. The girls are getting a gorgeous shot here together. Isn't it wonderful to see the camaraderie in the show ring? Daisy, congratulations. You've had great successes out here before. Who would you like to thank for getting you here today?
Dad, Mum, Christine for letting me ride her horse, and Poppy, Kurt, Corinne and Andrea, all of them.
Now, we're going to see you out here in quite a few classes. You've already been competing so far. What are you most looking forward to over the next few days?
Oh, I don't know. All of it. The Grand Parade. The grand parade, yeah.
Hey, it's Father's Day. Anyone we want to do a shout out to?
Oh, happy Father's Day, Dad.
Gorgeous girls, and isn't it lovely to see the big smiles on their faces here today? Wonderful to see. Lee Halpin Bishop is our judge, comes to us from the Hunter Valley in New South Wales. Lee, you've had wonderful successes in your own right. Have you enjoyed your time judging here today?
Oh, definitely. It's the classes have been absolutely amazing. The quality of rider, right from 5 years to 8 years, the first class I judged and upwards was just astounding. So the kids are just so professional these days. And some of the classes, look, my top 5 and 6 could have gone either way. Some of the horses let their riders down, but look, it all comes down to just on this day, they're the riders that I chose.
We'll be judging later on. You'll be judging, I should say. We'll be broadcasting the judging of our Champion Lady Riders and our over 30 classes later on today. Really strong competition.
Yes, obviously all the riders, that's where they end up in the over 30 class. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to the lady and the gent riders to judge them and see how they go.
Father's Day, anyone we want to do a shout out to?
Yes, my wonderful husband who is at home holding the fort. He's looking after my 11-year-old daughter who I'm sure is giving him a hard time and is not very happy that I'm down here at the Royal Show without her. And my dad, because my dad does all my feeding up in my boxes for me every morning, so I go to work and so I can feed the horses. So, yep, so great, both of them, wonderful. Couldn't live without them.
Well, wonderful. Thank you so much for being here today. Now, our horses leaving out today, our champion junior rider is a wonderful Ava Halloran, all the way from Victoria, and Daisy Plum taking out reserve champion here today. We're going to be back later on this afternoon. We're going to do the Ag Explorer in the meantime, the Elite Sheep Sale, meet with our young ambassadors, but we'll also come back here to the main arena for horses in action with our champion lady rider class, and also preceding that will be our lady rider over 30 years of age. See you then.
Let's celebrate the state.
The people.
The magic.
The memories.
The bright lights and high rides.
The sparkling eyes.
Over 2 full weekends.
The Royal Adelaide Show. The show of a lifetime. Free purchase tickets and save. theshow.com.au.